The story starts on a dark and stormy night in an old Chinese house. A group of men in black robes stood quietly in a line. One of them asked if anyone was there. The rain had formed puddles, and outside, a dirty child, soaked from the rain, looked at the men in black robes. Their stillness was creepy. Among them, a man with red eyes looked closely at the boy, wondering how he could be living in the empty martial academy. He called the boy a young warrior and politely asked if they could stay there for the night to get out of the rain. The boy watched them closely, curious about who they were. He was surprised they spoke so nicely, especially since he was just a kid. He thought they might see him as a young caretaker of the closed academy. Wanting to be polite, he greeted them back and figured they probably weren't bad people. He said he had been living in the empty academy for a few years and told them they could stay wherever they wanted. But he pointed to the pavilion where he stayed and asked them not to use it. The men thanked the young warrior for his kindness. Their leader told everyone to avoid the boys' pavilion and find shelter somewhere else. He asked if they understood, and they all said yes. They went to find their spots. The boy read the word on their robes. It said Tang. He wondered if they were from the same clan. He was curious about what kind of people they were, but he had other things to do. He went into his pavilion. He was busy because it was time for the kids' dinner. The serious mood changed as the boy looked happy. He happily called everyone to eat. There was a big pot. He cheerfully lifted the lid, revealing a small, brown, cricket-like insect inside. The boy remarked that he was almost late and these insects must be starving. He then opened another pot. Inside was a charming, large spider known as the black earth tiger, a tarantula native to Hainan, China. It's a big species growing up to 20 cm with unique stripes that resemble a black tiger. With a chopstick, he picked up an insect to feed Black. As he fed him, he expressed his gratitude for Black's presence, saying he couldn't imagine surviving without these creatures. Black eagerly munched on the insect. The boy was delighted with Black's reaction. He was amazed that this spider, once the size of a fingernail, had already shed its shell twice and grown significantly. He was thrilled. After Black had eaten, the boy opened a drawer. Inside was an orange lizard with white stripes. It was a Baolang cave gecko, another native species known for its striped body and tail. The boy mentioned how difficult it was to get one in his past life because he had no money. But now he could find them everywhere outside. His life was full of joy watching them. As he fed the gecko, it bit him. He yelled and shook his fingers to dislodge it, but it held on tightly. This moment reminded him of his past. Before ending up in this body, he was a streamer. A streamer with a huge following of 1 million subscribers. He was a professional biologist known as Spicy Fabry, focusing on venomous insects and animals. The trouble began during a live broadcast celebrating his 1 million subscribers, featuring the 10 most dangerous vipers in the world. The most dangerous among them, the black mamba, was seen as the most aggressive, and his trip to Africa to find it led to his demise. He explained to his viewers that he didn't have it yet, and finding it was quite challenging. He decided to take a break and planned to search for it again. His viewers assured him they would wait. He was exhausted and couldn't locate it. In the chat, viewers were worried that the black mamba might be in his house and could bite him. The elusive snake, which he had searched for tirelessly, was actually curled up on top of his refrigerator. During the live stream, it bit him swiftly, and just like that, our boy died. Now back to the present, he frowned, thinking about how it happened after all his hard work. Meanwhile, an elderly man in a black robe stood outside his pavilion door. He knocked and called for the young warrior. The boy opened the door and asked if there was anything wrong. The man expressed his gratitude for the shelter from the rain. He invited the boy to join them for dinner, mentioning they had caught a deer. The boy was thrilled to hear this. He loved meat. Until now, the only meat he had eaten was from snakes and lizards. He gladly accepted the invitation and joined the others. They had set up a bonfire. Everyone gathered around, watching the deer cook. The elder noticed the boy drooling at the sight and mentioned that the deer would take some time to be ready. In the meantime, he asked if he could ask a few questions. The boy felt a bit embarrassed for staring too long, but agreed to answer. The elder asked if the boy lived alone and how old he was. The boy wasn't sure if he was 14 or 15. He decided to make up a story that he had hit his head as a child and didn't remember much. When asked if he stayed there by himself, he said yes, explaining he had no special talent. He just caught snakes and sold their skins to get by. The elder was surprised he did such a risky thing. The boy replied that he was used to it. Someone brought over some cooked meat so they could eat first. An old man commented that the young warrior must be hungry. The boy thanked the elder. He mentioned it had been a long time since he had any meat. As he bit into it, he looked genuinely happy. In his mind, he thought, "This is happiness." The older men watched him with smiles. They asked the boy to listen while he ate. The elder explained they were searching for something and asked if he had seen anything unusual. The elder hesitated about sharing more. The white-haired elder suggested to the patriarch that, since they owed the young warrior, it might be fine to tell him. Besides, the boy probably wouldn't understand, and living alone, he wouldn't spread the word. The patriarch agreed with his father and began to explain. They were looking for a centipede with a blue spot on its body. The boy was taken aback by this. They called it the blue spot centipede. It was large, so they thought the boy might have come across it. He asked how big it was. The patriarch said that if it were an adult, it could easily swallow someone the boy's size. The boy went pale at the idea of such a gigantic centipede. He started to question his assumption that he had just traveled back a few hundred years. Maybe he was in another world altogether. The white-haired man reassured him not to worry, as they were close to catching it. The boy wondered if they intended to catch and raise it. The elders were puzzled by the idea of raising it. The white-haired elder was entertained and burst into laughter. They found the notion of raising a blue spot centipede amusing. The patriarch remarked on how funny the young warrior was. The white-haired elder clarified that raising it was impossible. They intended to use it for medicine. This confused the boy, who thought they might be traders, but now wondered if they were involved in something illicit. He asked how centipedes could be medicinal. The white-haired man explained that his granddaughter was gravely ill, and the centipede's inner core was the only thing that could save her, so they were determined to find it. The boy was trying to piece everything together, and the patriarch confirmed his thoughts. The white-haired elder's granddaughter was indeed his daughter. To the boy, it seemed like they were willing to try anything to help her, given her critical condition. Though he doubted centipedes could be used as medicine, he understood the lengths parents would go for their children. Feeling sympathy for both the girl and the centipede, and grateful for the meal the men provided, he decided to offer his help. He began speaking about the centipede, prompting the patriarch to ask if he had seen it. He replied no, but mentioned that while he might not know exactly what a blue spot centipede is, he might have an idea of where to find it. Despite his death by snakebite, Spicy Fabry was exceptionally knowledgeable about venomous creatures. Out of the estimated 8.7 million species, about 20,000 are known to be venomous, and he had knowledge of each one. Centipedes were no exception. With expertise in venomous animals, Spicy Fabry was like a walking encyclopedia.
So, friends, this chapter comes to an end. What will happen next? We'll uncover it in the next chapter. Don't forget to rate this chapter out of 10 in the comments. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and goodbye. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.